Right.
You've invested.
Looking into the dark here.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me do this for a second. You'll see there's about 1,500, 2,000 people out there. Thanks for coming. You've invested, DFJ has invested in hundreds of companies now. What company do you look at and say, that company represents what we're about the most? Like, God, we're so proud that we're able to help that company just, I know it's very hard to, but just do on a personal level, get massive satisfaction from it.
Well, I think I'm torn a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I think Hotmail allowed all of us to communicate much more easily. And it opened up the world economies, and led to viral marketing of products and social media, which has forced bad governments to fail, and overthrown bad governments and encouraged good governments. So I think that's had a big impact. And then Tesla is kind of what we're about, and maybe SpaceX. We saw just the inkling of a new trend there, where electric cars could make you go, whoa! And all of a sudden they made it, you didn't have to be a tree hugger to want to buy an electric car.
We can put that list on from the deck of all the investments, if there are a number of them on the main screen. So when you first got in the Tesla...
Skype was cool too, and Baidu was cool too. But
yeah, those were pretty big returns, I think. When you first got into Tesla, you must have driven in one of those small roadsters. You're a big guy.
Yeah.
And they asked you to put money in this. How does one... I mean, it would be easy to put money in the Model S.
Well, we put money into a big plan.
Right.
There was no car.
There wasn't even a prototype.
No, there was a competitor who actually had a car that I got a chance to ride in.
Which one was that, the Atom? Or something?
No, it was, I forgot.
Yeah.
But it's too bad, poor guy. He was the pioneer, and he figured it all out. So we invested really in the plan. And the plan was, we're going to build electric cars, and they can give you pretty good range, and they're way faster and way more efficient than gas-powered cars. So that was a big opportunity, and it was quite exciting. And boy, what an incredible ride that has been.
Were there times when, because Tesla had a couple of near-death experiences, were there times when you felt like this company is not going to be here much longer? And what do you do at a time like that when, there's a financial crisis and they were about to go under?
Well, that's where I give all the credit to Elon Musk. He took all of his money and he leveraged it all up, and he borrowed from one end to pay for something else, and he created the one saving opportunity, and he did it I think he did it at least twice for Tesla, where he laid it all out on the line, could have gone completely bankrupt personally, but he made it all work. And then he was very clever and creative in how he financially drove the business. He got people to pay in advance for a car that they wouldn't have for 2 years. And then he did get a great government loan, which has been completely repaid, I believe.
Let's talk a little bit about the 6 California plan, which everybody's talking about. I think we may have What is 6 Californias, and why did you put your name behind it? Because obviously when you put your name behind something like this, people are going to take it seriously. It matters. So why should we do this?
So
what is it?
There are a lot of interesting ways to look at this. I have a friend who came to me and said, here's a way to put it. Let's say we did have 6 states. We were 6 states. They were kind of doing okay. Each state was doing kind of okay. And somebody had a plan to turn them all into one state and charge 3 times the price and end up providing services that were the worst in the country. Would we do that? No. There is, you take California. Okay, I grew up in California. And I was a beneficiary of the best education system in the country. We were #1. That was 40 years ago, roughly. We were #1 in education. We had great infrastructure. We had a great medical system. We had it all. We had good weather. Now, California we are 50th out of 50 in what our state provides for how much it charges. We are the worst managed state in the union. Worst managed, okay? We're the biggest state, worst managed. And we pay the most for education, and we are 46th in education. We pay among the most for prisons. We are one of the highest recidivism rates. We used to spend 26% on infrastructure. Now we spend 3% on infrastructure. This is not good. We still have the good weather. So I believe that, and it turns out, so do the Californians, believe that we have lost touch with our government. Our government, we're we the people, we're a democracy. We are our government. We are supposed to be our government, but we have totally lost touch with our California government. Does anybody know what they're doing? Does anybody know where the money goes? Does anybody know why our education system is so bad? I don't. So I came to the conclusion after looking and meeting all of these great people who are doing great things for California, and they're all brilliant. I came to the conclusion that California is ungovernable as it is. It is too big, too many different interests, too far away from the capital, not just physically, but sociologically. And then you add that to the idea that the people up in Jefferson are trying to break away from the state because they're getting taxed. They're saying no taxation without representation. And then you see people in the South California, their issue is all about immigration. Our issues are like H-1B visas and having a government that kind of understands what a Bitcoin is, or understands what voice over IP is, or what Napster was. And then in Central California, they want a government where they can understand what their water rights are. They're constantly battling Sacramento about water rights. And they feed the world. I mean, that Central California, that basically feeds the world. So these are all very disparate interests. And and I think our government, the state government of California, is trying to be all things to all people. And they're doing nothing for anyone. And if you follow the money, it leaves wherever it goes. The taxes go to Sacramento, and then they're supposed to sort of spread amongst the states and go to the poor or whatever. They don't. It really doesn't move much. And so I think this is absolutely necessary, and it's a fantastic opportunity, and it's nothing new. The U.S. Ohio broke away from Pennsylvania, Massachusetts and Vermont broke away from Maine. Now there's one other piece to 6 Californians, and that is, with 6 Californians, we have 6 new refreshes. We get to sort of start fresh, and I think you guys, you entrepreneurs, understand this. There are those big monopolies out there that are kind of running things today, and they're running them wrong. And you entrepreneurs are saying, hey, I can take on that monopoly, we can do a better job. In the same way, 6 new states can create a cooperative, competitive environment where they can try some interesting new things, and if they work, they'll spread throughout all the states. So I think this is a necessary thing, and you think, oh, well, we're 50th out of 50 states, well, you can't go down from here. But that's not right. You can get worse. Our state has gotten worse. We've been 50th now for 3 years, and each year we're farther into the depths of being the 50th state. So we have a huge problem. This is a possible, very exciting, interesting solution. We can all be closer to our government.
Where is it at right now? I mean, you had a ballot, you had to get on the ballot, you had to get a certain number of signatures. Where's that at?
Well, it's been declared doable and legal. which is exciting. And it's now, it's gone through the Attorney General's office and the Legislative Analyst's office. And the Attorney General's office did a fair title and summary for it. And the Legislative Analyst's office did a fair and very thorough, and it's quite interesting to read, report on what would happen with water and education and all the various prisons, all the various issues.
Are we going to be voting on a ballot on this?
What's that?
We're going to vote on this?
Yeah, we're collecting,
voting on?
as of tomorrow, we're collecting signatures to go, and we're going after the grassroots. So go get your neighborhood and sign up.
What is the criticism of the plan? Because you do hear people say, hey, there happens to be this one little wealthy pocket that now is going to be, all isolated and alone. And is that fair or not?
Well, the criticism has been that Silicon Valley is going to be the wealthiest state here, and that the Jefferson state and the Central California state are going to be poorer. I actually believe that all the states are going to be richer. And the way I can justify that is I can say, well, look, the U.S., when our founding fathers created that platform that was the U.S., we became the richest country in the world. Singapore, when they put a great platform together, and in 40 years they went from a GDP of about $1,000 per person to a couple $100 per person to about more than $30,000 per person today. A platform really matters. If you don't believe that your government has an impact, go to India. It is a poor country because that government is so bad. We're in the U.S., we have a great government. We've been living off it for more than 200 years, and we need to keep it going.
How long would this take to really fully vet and implement, do you think? Is this something that could happen in our lifetimes in 10, 20, 30 years?
Oh, I'm hoping it happens by November.
Okay, fascinating. So you've been a VC for how long now?
I've been a VC for 27 years, but I think I even started before I started Draper, Fisher Johnson, which is what's called Draper Associates, who originally got it going. So I think I've been a VC pretty much all my life.
3 decades.
Yeah, 3 decades, 3 generations.
Yeah. And so when you look at what's happening now with some of these huge acquisitions, $19 million, and just the mobile space, how different is it now, the venture capital game, the process, than it was when you started? Describe what it was like in the 80s.
It's interesting. I'm sort of seeing the same kind of trends as maybe we saw in 1997, with some real excitement about venture capital and a lot of entrepreneurs participating. And I think that's the nature of a somewhat cyclical beast. So I think it's the whole thing is somewhat cyclical. It is so exciting what is happening in the world. The world has really opened up, and I do credit the Hotmail founders and the Skype founders for some of that. We all now have access to similar information, and we can now start businesses from the same platform. And it's really those extraordinary entrepreneurs who think beyond the obvious next vision that are the ones who are going to be very successful. And so that would be the ones who probably are taking the biggest risks, because the likelihood of their success is much lower, but the outcome is much bigger. I would say that when I was getting started, I would go knock on doors to see if they wanted money. I'd go to the new constructions here in Silicon Valley. Whenever there was a new construction, there was usually a few companies that were renting space called something software. And so I'd go and knock on their doors.
Literally knock on a door.
Yeah, and I remember I knocked on Intuit's door, and And the reception shooed me away.
Yeah.
She said, "No soliciting, go away!" And that was kind of the attitude. It was like, what are you doing in our business?
Yeah, not
And I said,
inaccurate.
but I'm here to give money to your people. Oh, get out of here, we don't want you. And it was too bad, because I really should have pushed my way past her, because that would have been a great investment.
You're taking a break from the next fund at DFJ.
Yeah.
To do why? I mean, you've had such a great track record, and then you want to do this Draper University. So, what's your thinking there?
So, venture capital is going through some changes, just like a lot of these other industries. Napster changed the music industry, and Skype changed the telecom industry. Google changed what is a library and information. So I actually believe that venture capital is going through a similar change with crowdfunding like Indiegogo and AngelList. And I think things are going to start being a little different, where the entrepreneur is going to be closer to their investor, and a venture capitalist will need to more justify what it is they're doing rather than just holding money and sending it on to you. And so I actually am looking ahead at the innovator's dilemma, which is you're in a great business, everything's going great. DFJ is an awesome firm, with or without me. They're still with me, by the way.
Yeah.
But I am looking and I'm saying, well, look, I need to sort of take some time, and by skipping a fund, it gives me some time to go be the R&D shop and reinvent what might be venture capital. And so that when I can come back, we'll be prepared for whatever that is. And it may be bifurcated, and it may be something that all comes together.
So how will that manifest
I think
itself?
all of those angels